So, mothers and others, we're down to our next candidate this evening, and I'm so excited about this particular candidate because she's running against one of the famous nemesis in Texas. So anyway, so let me get started because I can't wait to introduce you to her. So, Kristin Hook is running for U.S. House 21. She is running against Republican incumbent Chip Roy. Welcome, Kristin. I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait to hear more about you. So, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you're running for office?
Sure, thank you. And I'm so excited to be here, and it's really nice to meet you. So I'm a native Texan. I come from a long line of strong Texas women, and I never thought I would be in this position. I'm a scientist. I fell in love with biology in the hill country of Texas, and I got my doctorate in animal behavior. And in 2016, I moved to the DC area to start a postdoc. And I moved there right before the Trump administration took over. And what started as a 1 year postdoc became a 4 year postdoc. And it was a very long 4 years under that administration, watching the Trump administration attacking women, attacking marginalized communities, attacking scientists, attacking our democracy. And when the pandemic hit, I realized that I could no longer sit back and my lab work was just not making the impact that I wanted to have. So I transitioned out of the lab and I started a career in policy work, and I've been in the federal government ever since. So I started a fellowship that places scientists in government in the U.S. Senate. And then I transitioned to an appointment at the NIH before moving over to the Government Accountability Office. So all of those experiences gave me a huge breadth and overview of federal policy. And the things that I'm really passionate about include, really using my scientific background to impact people's lives, to look at the data, fact-based information, evidence-based information, and enact policies that are actually going to help people. When I moved back to Texas, I was really horrified once again to see our basic freedoms being taken away here. Arriving back in Texas with fewer freedoms than I had when I left. There are so many people in Texas being left behind because our politicians, that people that are entrusted to be protecting us, are not doing that. And they clearly are not interested in public service. So I'm here running to make sure that we have politicians, or a government and an economy that has the backs of working class Texans. That's what we need. It's what we deserve. And, I'm not going to back down. My opponent and I could not be more different of people. I believe in a government that works for people, and it can be a powerful force for good. And he is trying to break our government every which way he can. So yeah, I'm proudly running against this person. I am the antidote to Chip Roy.
Absolutely. Amen to that. So what do you feel are the top three issues for your district right now?
So reproductive rights, definitely. I've heard so many stories from women that I'm meeting, not only moms who are worried about their daughters who are younger or who are of reproductive age, and they're concerned for them. I've also met women who've had ectopic pregnancies and miscarriage, and they are having a hard time in the district finding an OBGYN who will see them, and that's unacceptable. I've met women who were on birth control and accidentally became pregnant, because we know accidents happen. That's such a huge issue. That's why I'm running, is to make sure that we have equality in healthcare options, and that women aren't being left behind in the state. There's also, we heard last week, 26,000 rape-related pregnancies in the state of Texas since the abortion bans here, and we're not going to stand for it. So I'm here for, reproductive rights. Healthcare is also a huge issue in this district because Texas is one of the worst records for rural hospital closures. We are not making it easier. We're not making doctors want to stay here when we're criminalizing them and threatening them for their expertise. And so we need to be, making sure that we have healthcare that reaches every community. So I'm fighting for access for affordable healthcare and childcare. I just spoke with a gentleman on the phone earlier in my district who said his number one issue is childcare. I'm not a mom, but I have a ton of mom friends, and I see how much of a struggle it is for finding childcare. And there's a lot of elder care in my community as well. We need to find ways to support people and their dynamics, like family dynamics, to make sure that they're able to be productive and to be caretakers for their loved ones. Lastly, it's a toss-up between two issues that I hear about a lot. We already touched on immigration a while ago. I hear that a lot, and then I ask folks like, well, you're watching the media clearly, like afraid for stuff that you're seeing about immigration and the dangers of the border. Are you feeling that here in the district? And no, nobody can tell me, oh, they feel anything differently. I certainly am a person who wants to make sure that we are humanizing the people that are coming over here. They share our values. They're family centric. They are sacrificing a lot and they're hard workers. And frankly, our economy relies on immigrants. I believe it's 1 in 4 people out of our Texas workforce are immigrants. So we absolutely, need to be finding better legal pathways. The last issue that I said is a bit of a toss-up. I hear this a lot from the rural communities I represent, or I would like to represent, and that's concerns about our democracy. We kind of touched on that a while ago too, but it's really problematic when you have people in power and in office who are more interested in the money that flows through that and the corruption than actually serving people and playing the role of public servant, which is the entire point of the job. So there's a lot of concern for voting restrictions and Texans not having their voices heard. And that's something I absolutely will be fighting for this election cycle too, is making sure that every Texan's voice is heard, that we are making sure that we support voting rights and getting the corrupting influence of money out of politics.
Amen to that. So you're kind of in some ways a little bit lucky because Chip Roy has been really writing ads for you, to be totally honest.
He's not on my payroll. I'm not paying him for it, but he is supplying it every single day.
Absolutely is. I mean, he applied another news bite today, and I'm like, dude, every time you open up your mouth, it's like talking points for our party for sure. I mean, just the one news ad where he kind of said that that they don't accomplish anything. He's like, what can I take home to say that we've done nothing? And it's like putting that on a billboard alone is just like the best.
Exactly. Well, right now he's focused on immigration. He's trying to be the immigration czar, and he dehumanizes people, he dehumanizes immigrants, he's fear-mongering about immigrants, and it's very obvious based on the way that he's been not supporting any bipartisan legislation at all, that he is not interested in solving this problem. So that's clearly the issue that he's chosen to campaign on, because he has nothing else and he has not done anything else. I find that comment very funny when he said, what have we done? We've done nothing, because that is his whole point. That was his whole point of getting into office. He's here to break government. He is a stick in the spokes. He's not interested in actually legislating for people. And I want to make sure that people understand, what has Chip done for you lately? He's been in office since 2018. What has he done for you other than yell and scream and make a spectacle? That's not what we need to make politics boring again. It needs to be something that is actually helping people. He's actually listening to people. And when you have policymakers enacting laws that the majority of Americans and people in this district do not want, it's time to get rid of them. So I could not be more excited to be running in this election. And I'm really looking forward to putting Chip Roy out of a job.
Absolutely. So tell us, where can we find you and how best can we support you right now while you're running for office?
Thanks for the question. So you can find me at my website, www.dr.Kristin, Kristin, Hook, HOOK.org. I don't have any E's in my name. This tends to be an issue that comes up a lot. I'm also on Twitter. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter at Kristin_Hook, and Instagram, Dr.KristinHook. And the best way to support me, honestly, is helping with when you go to my website, you can either donate, which is hugely helpful because I'm going to need a lot of resources to combat the $2 million war chest that Chip Roy has in cash on hand right now. I am not accepting corporate PAC money. I am not interested in dark money. That's something I would like to get rid of. So I absolutely am relying on grassroots donations, and that's how we're going to get this done. The other thing you can do is sign up to volunteer. And I know I am lucky. I do not have a primary. I'm the only Democratic candidate running against Chip Roy. So, it will be a little bit of time before I'm going to need some door knocks, people door knocking and making calls. But signing up now never hurts. And I so appreciate the interest. And I want you to, everyone to be a part of this campaign. It's time to flip Chip. And I'm so excited to do that this year.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Flip Chip. Love it. And I'm a marketing person. So yeah, love it. Perfect. It's absolutely perfect. We need to put that on a bumper sticker for sure. Yeah. So thank you so much, Kristin. It was a pleasure to meet you. And I look forward to seeing you on the campaign trail.
Thank you as well.